Hi guys, this is Ninja Misty here with
Ninja Andrew.
And we are bringing you another exciting episode of Ninja News and Opinions. And today we're going to be talking about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, as well as Ninja Andrew, and it has to do with motion sickness and strange camera angles and bouncing of the camera, and you can just find a comprehensive heading to put reasons why I want to play your game but cannot.
Yeah, or also known as you're gonna make me hurl. Dang it.
Exactly. So, I'm actually watching Ninja Andrew and Evolve because he was braver than I was and went ahead and picked it up. And
that's right.
Yes. And so, Ninja Andrew, do you want to tell them why we're not playing Evolve?
Yeah, well, I pre-ordered this game because I was excited about being able to play another co-op game with Misty, as most games that I purchase are purchased along the lines of them being co-op first and then other features second. And, I had looked at all of the videos and stuff for this, and I thought that I knew enough about it to be able to be like, yeah, oh, sure, it'll be fine, you know what I mean? Come to get into the game, get into the training map here, and this is probably the worst case of fisheye lensing that I have ever seen in a video game. So I'm going to show you guys here. Game looks fine as long as I've got the camera still, right? That's why I haven't been moving it around or doing anything up until this point. If I start moving the camera around, do you see how, things that should be straight are not straight? They're curved. And, when I look up into the sky, it's like everything, gets closer to the middle of the screen. There's, a really weird bending of everything around that sort of middle rotational axis. And it's fisheyed. It's a technique to make it look like you can see, I guess, further into the field of view than you really should be from your perspective. So it bends everything and twists it out towards the edge of the screen, and it does these really weird things with your perspective. And I don't understand why developers think that this is a good idea. I don't understand why they think that this is something that they should do in video games, because it's yes, while that may allow you to see in a little bit more detail something that's right in front of you at your feet, pretty much anywhere else in the game, it's sort of like they're trying to spread apart the screen at the part that you're looking at, so it makes it a little bit clearer wherever you happen to be focused on with your lens, but everything else gets compressed by the same token. And it's why, in a game where I'm supposed to be moving around and looking around, why would you add in a feature like this that literally makes me want to hurl? Makes me want to just puke my guts out every time I move around and look around on the screen. So it's if I actually had to play a game where I was having to follow anything around with any kind of consistency, or actually run around, I'm going to go out here into this zone here in just a second. See, as you were playing this game, the perspective is just bizarre. What am I supposed to be focusing on? Am I just supposed to focus on the monster? Am I supposed to focus on the crosshairs? I certainly can't focus on the environment. That's barely there. I'm barely able to keep that in the frame of reference as far as my brain is concerned. And it's just I don't understand why they think that that's a good idea, because literally I bought the game, put it into the system, plugged it in, walked out as far as I am now, and was okay, Misty, I'm done playing Evolved because I cannot play this game. There's no point in even trying to go further with this, just because it is going to give me headaches and, yeah, unpleasant stuff. And, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, for me it comes down to, obviously not everybody suffers from these type of issues when it comes to camera angles, but there are enough people that have issues that something, you're making me sick.
Sorry, that was the point.
There's enough people with issues that I think you at least need to consider it, since stabilizing the camera more or taking away this kind of really overdone fisheye effect isn't going to affect the gameplay, at least not from what I could, surmise by looking at this much of the game. And this was actually a game that I was looking forward to trying out back when I first heard about it. But then when Andrew got it and was like, oh, no, the camera angles, it's just going to be terrible, I didn't even bother because I know how sensitive I am to that. So it's limiting, it's disappointing, because if there's a game that you want to play and you just can't because it's going to make you sick. So,
And especially with features like this, and looking at stuff like Oculus Rift, and everybody wants to have their VR stuff, it's like, if I had to have this perspective glued onto my eyeballs and I couldn't escape it, I wouldn't be able to play that game either. And
that's the thing, while it's exciting technology and you think that sounds really cool, it's just some of us have brains and eyeballs that just,
would like to remain normal.
Would like to not feel like,
yes.
You're going to get sick. And usually for me, it is first-person perspective games, but this ran a number just watching it here, because this is actually the first time I've seen it. And looking down, when Andrew was first showing you guys, when he looked down, that wasn't so bad for me. When he looked up, it was just like, oh, God. Yeah. It just does something really strange to my eyes. And
yeah.
So, yeah.
And just knowing that that's how, the human brain works in relationship to motion sickness, and that you need something that you can focus on, especially something in the far distance, and their point of focus here, that crosshair isn't even the theoretical point that it exists in isn't even in front of the monster. It's at its shoulder. So everything that's being done in this fisheye perspective is being done with a viewpoint that's less than the distance between the screen and that point, theoretically, right? So it's they're compressing so much movement into such a small space to make this possible that it's just oh God, just put a kaleidoscope on my eyes and it would be better than this. You know what I mean? Less confusing,
Absolutely.
Because holy crap. So we could go into some other games that have had this problem. Actually, Misty and I didn't play Far Cry 4 for the same reason, because there's also an artificial fisheye perspective in that game. And I'll throw in some video here just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But essentially, it was no better when it came down to it, because of that forced fisheye perspective. You get into a helicopter, you get into a vehicle, you're trying to do anything in that game, and it's just yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for just really weird stuff to start happening with your perspective, and just it makes you feel I think in that case they were probably trying to add it so that it would add a sense of oh, I can feel the vertigo, I can feel, but that's what I'm saying is you don't want to feel the vertigo. You don't want to start screwing around with people's brains like that, because it's going to push them away from your game.
Well, and with Far Cry 4, there was another thing with the way, for me, the problem came in outside of climbing the towers, and it's shaking and it just really giving me a nauseating feeling, was the perspective when you were holding your weapon was it was so claustrophobic that it caused just a really bizarre angle that just...
And that's another trick that they'll try to use, is in order to make the world feel bigger, they'll make you artificially, quote-unquote, smaller. So where a normal camera perspective would be at eye level, they sort of put it at belly button height, and then do a bunch of screwy stuff with the perspective in order to make that all fit. And while that works to make the world artificially feel quote-unquote bigger, it also makes me feel like I want to puke my guts out.
Well, the disappointing thing there is that, you know, we were looking forward to playing Far Cry 4 together.
Yes. That was a huge game, and there's lots of stuff. And, like, I gave it the good old college try, too. Like, I put in, you know, some time trying to get used to it, trying to get everything, and, like, it's probably the limit of what I can handle at any given time, but there's still, like, you know, points in there where it gets really bad. But I know that for Misty, like, even, you know, Call of Duty has its elements of, you know, this is too much, and it's like, you know, that game I wouldn't see as being so bad, so it's like, I know that Misty's a little bit more sensitive.
I have a delicate brain, don't judge me.
That's right, that's right. So, let us know what you guys think in the comments, or if you've ever experienced any issues like this, you know, brain fatigue, eye strain, all of these things, and just like, you know, developers, like, think about that, like, why would you want to add more eye strain to your game? Why would you want to add more brain fatigue to your game? You know? These are the things that you should be using your technology to improve, not to make more convoluted and confusing and just, it hurts my brain, bro. It hurts my brain. So, I think that's good. You wanna?
Sure. I think that wraps up what makes Ninja Andrew puke.
That's right. one of the many things.
One of the many things. So, you know, click the like button, subscribe. If you have not, leave us comments and let us know what makes you puke. And join us next time for more news and opinions on DorkNinjaGaming. Bye.